Welcome to Lockdown Locomotive lecture number 2. Thought this week we would have a look at the forthcoming Accucraft Adams Radial tank. Lovely L&SWR 442. So, what have we got? It's a 1/32 gauge 1 gas-fired live steam locomotive. Very simple configuration like most of our locomotives. Very easy to run and a lovely replica of, I think, the prototype locomotive. Have a quick look around the locomotive. Really elegant Victorian lines. Nicely captured by the factory using David Fletcher's superb drawings. It's a handsome machine and is very easy to run. The original class were designed by William Adams of the London South Western Railway in the late 19th century. They're designed for suburban services. They were aimed to provide rapid acceleration and needed the ability to go around tight corners. Hence the wheel arrangement, which gave them a radial truck underneath the bunker, which allowed them to negotiate sharp curves. So let's have a look at the locomotive. If I take the cab roof off, that's probably the easiest way to go about it. So just unclip that. If I turn the locomotive towards the camera, we can have a better look at the cab layout. Got a water filler, good old valve in there, regulator, pressure gauge, gas jet, reverser. In the cab door you've got the water gauge. This bunker contains the oil filler. There'll be a small hole in the oil tank on the finished design for filling the oiler. If we turn it round, you can see the layout of the regulator and the reverser in the cab doorway. Again, on the finished examples the regulator will be slightly more inboard, tucked entirely inside the cab for better prototypical appearance, but simple ease of operation as well. Gas tank is in the bunker, sat in a small water bath. Warm water to be added before running to propagate the evaporation of the gas. Gas control valve on top of the tank. Doesn't need much. Basically the water bath is just to warm the gas through to give you enough live gas to get the locomotive into steam. Thereafter the warmth from the boiler will keep things cooking quite happily. Dummy coal load hides that thus. Opening smoke box door to help lighting up, fastened on the batch by a solid earth magnet. Nice simple way of latching it in place. The finished batch will be available in the original London South Western Adam green like this, the stovepipe chimney, Drummond green with the Adam boiler but with a Drummond chimney, that lovely dark holly green they used, Southern green, East Kent green, which is only available from Kent Garden Railways, Southern black with sunshine lettering, then BR black with the early emblem and the late crest. We've chosen to make quite a few of these based on number 488. This was a locomotive that had a charmed existence in some respects. It was bought by the Ministry of Defence before World War I, worked for the Ministry of Munitions. It was then bought as a second-hand locomotive, third-hand locomotive in that case, by Colonel Stevens, of light railway fame, who used it on the East Kent Railway. It didn't see a huge amount of use there, and in the 1940s, when the Southern Railway were looking for additional motive power for the Line Regents branch, having discovered that the Adams radial tanks were the only ones that coped with the curvature on that line, they approached Colonel Stevens, offered him 120 quid, and bought 488 from him. So it ended up back in Southern ownership in 1946 and became part of the Line Regis fleet. Unfortunately, when British Railways came to scrap the remaining Line Regis radial tanks, its two sisters were carrying Drummond boilers at that stage and were not considered fit for preservation. But because 488 still retained the Adams boiler, because they've been swapping boilers around, the Bluebell Railway selected her for preservation as the most prototypical of the locomotives. And she was duly preserved, and is to this day preserved on the Bluebell Railway, with hope that someday in the future she'll come back into steam. Anyhow, hope you've enjoyed this little ramble around a lovely locomotive, and we look forward to supplying them. The batch is due for delivery in the next couple of weeks, and we hope you enjoy them, running them as much as I've enjoyed running the sample locomotive. Enough said, catch you later.